So I've been reading Sun Tzu's The Art of War recently, and it made me realize that some of these rappers are unknowingly using strategies from this book. We're about to discuss one of the most powerful strategies in war, which is sometimes the best way to win is not by flexing your muscles, but rather by playing it cool and leaving your opponents guessing. We're talking about appearing weak when you're strong and strong when you're weak. This principle is all about mastering the art of deception. It's all about having your opponents think they outsmarted you, only for you to pull off a genius move that would knock the ground right from under them. Or how, in a bad situation, it can hold the wolves at bay just long enough for you to regroup and return even stronger. In a cutthroat, image-driven business like music, this is literally golden. Sometimes winning a rap beef is not only about dropping bars, it's about outdoing your competition with strategy in a long-term way. So, who else could stand as a great example but JayZ himself? Strategic thinking is what the man has managed to turn into an art form by using perception as a weapon of choice. He has disarmed rivals, dodged attacks, and struck with precision when the time was right, all while staying at the top of the industry. In this video, we'll break down how Jay has mastered this principle and sometimes appears weak when he's strong and strong when he's weak. Let's go back to when Nas and JayZ were going at it and were not on good terms. So it's 2001 and Nas and Jay have issues behind the scenes. This has been going on since 1996, but this was the year where the beef came to a head. Jay performs a freestyle at Hot 97 Summer Jam, taking jabs at Nas, Mobb Deep, and Prodigy. Then after this, he drops an album called The Blueprint, which contains the diss song we've all heard by now called Takeover.
Went from nasty Nas to Esco's trash. Had a spark when you started, but now you're just garbage.
Then Nas is like, I'm not gonna let this guy who raps about money beat me. So Nas drops Ether, and the diss track is so effective that to this day, whenever someone loses in a battle, people say they got ethered.
That this JayZ and Cockefeller Records wanted beef. Started cocking up my weapon, slowly loading up this ammo.
This record is so hard, you know. He told me though, I think his mother died. When Jay came at him, he was dealing with his mother dying. So I think that kind of helped
it
fuel that monumental record.
So about 24 hours after Nas drops Ether, Jay drops Super Ugly. And boy was it disrespectful. Jay talks about Nas's chipped tooth, Nas's baby mom, and doing something that I can't talk about on the backseat of Nas's baby mom's car. Now when this song came out, people thought it was okay, but it was not on the same level as Ether.
Tie you up on the Coliseum roof and open beer bottles off the boy chip too.
In fact, some people thought that Jay went too far with the song. And to me, that doesn't make sense because Ether is the most disrespectful song I've ever heard. But the thing is, even Jay's mother reportedly called him and urged him to apologize, which he did publicly. Now after the Super Ugly track, it kinda seemed like Jay backed down a bit, or he was calling it quits. This moment was seen by some as a low point for Jay, and some people didn't think he would make a comeback. Now this step let Nas think he had the upper hand, and made Jay appear to be weak. But Jay hadn't actually taken a step back. He had, in fact, shifted his focus from performance music to becoming a formidable businessman and quietly making an empire. And when he re-entered back onto the scene, Jay was bigger than ever. Now by 2002, R. Kelly was already a huge name in R&B. He had tons of chart-topping hits like I Believe I Can Fly, Bump and Grind. The man had sold over 75 million records worldwide, so you know he was a big deal. So in this year, right after his beef with Nas, Jay teams up with R. Kelly to drop Best of Both Worlds.
Welcome to the best of both worlds.
At this point, Jay already appeared to be weak because he just lost the beef to Nas, people were starting to doubt him, and he was teaming up with R. Kelly, who was at the height of his powers, so it almost seemed like he was latching on to R. Kelly's hype. In this power play, Jay appeared to be weak, but he was actually stronger than ever. This collaboration was a power play. By latching onto what was popular, R. Kelly gave JayZ the chance to re-establish himself and remain relevant. It was a very strategic partnership that, in the end, allowed Jay to get back in the game and keep the spotlight on him. So, after getting his mojo back thanks to R. Kelly, Jay drops the blueprint to The Gift and the Curse, and it debuts at number 1, selling 545,000 copies in the first week, proving that Jay is still here to stay.
All I need in this life is sin. It's me and my girlfriend. Me and my girlfriend.
Now, an important thing that Jay did is that he got pretty quiet and focused on making some serious power moves behind the scenes. But the real boss move came later, when Jay ended up signing Nas to his Rock Nation label. Now, I get what Nas was thinking, that it's all about unity, etc, etc. But to me, this was a statement that Jay may have lost the battle, but he was playing chess and he eventually won the war. So even though Jay appeared to be weak in the public eye after losing to Nas, Jay was secretly strong all along, and he proved this by signing Nas and eventually winning the war. Jay won the war by appearing weak when he was strong, but there was another time when he showed real strength even when he was at his lowest. Remember when his personal life was all over the news and Beyonce found out he was cheating with Becky with the good hair? And then there was that crazy elevator fight with Solange. Now that's one thing I didn't expect to see in my lifetime. Can you imagine what the atmosphere must have been like at home? Imagine being JayZ and you're worth $1 billion. And normally with that kind of money you can do anything you want. But your wife is Beyonce, who also has $1 billion. So Beyonce has a lot of fuck you money. Which probably means she gave him hell for cheating. There were probably a lot of silent treatments, lots of arguing. Jay probably had to sleep on the west wing of their compound. You know, regular fighting couple stuff. I can just imagine Jay and Beyonce sitting on the couch and Jay's like, I'm tired, B. I'm going to bed. Then Beyonce turns, mouth twisted, looking disgusted, and she's like, did you just say you're going to bed? With who? Becky with the good hair? And Jay's like, oh, B, oh, not this again, B. I'm tired. Right? I'm sure there was a lot of tension in that house. But here's how he kept it together. For starters, he kept it cool under pressure. When that elevator footage of Solange going off on him got out, Jay stayed calm. Sun Tzu talks about staying composed under pressure, and Jay nailed it. He didn't lose his cool or let things get messier than they already were. Jay and Beyonce also managed to control their narrative. With all this drama going on between them, they still managed to present as a single unit. That's when their On the Run tour fits perfectly. It's as though they wanted to say, yeah, we have issues just like anybody else, but we are still a power couple. It's really about projecting power even if you are not powerful in the moment. Another thing they did was they turned their pain into art. Instead of spilling everything to the press and talking about the same thing in interview after interview. I mean, I think Jay did one interview about it, but they sang and rapped about what they went through. Beyonce's Lemonade and Jay's 444 were musical therapy sessions that took their pain and turned it into art.
You can taste the dishonesty, it's all over your breath.
And it worked out well for them. Lemonade debuted at number 1 with 653,000 units in the first week. Jay's album did 262,000. So in a way, this whole cheating scandal helped both of their careers because they turned it into a profit. Which makes me wonder if the whole thing is real or not, because we still don't know who Becky with the good hair is. Some people say it's Rachel Roy, other people say it's Rita Ora, but nobody knows for sure. And that's oddly suspicious, unless somebody received a check. Now over time, Jay and Beyonce showed that they were working through their issues. Their appearances and working together emphasized their story of friction to reconciliation. It turned the scandalous tale into a redemptive one, where their union was in full strength. So, by working together, by controlling the narrative, by putting their pain into their music, and keeping cool under pressure, Jay and Beyonce turned what could have been a career-ending scandal into just another chapter in their story.
I'm an outlaw, got an outlaw chick.
So throughout his career, Jay has shown a remarkable ability to use perception to his advantage. By appearing weak when necessary and strong when needed, he has outmaneuvered rivals and solidified his position at the top of the industry. Knowing when to act weak, knowing when to show strength, is his key to unparalleled success in the music business. Be it collaborating with R. Kelly after his feud with Nas, leaving Def Jam for Rock Nation, and dealing with his infidelity publicly, reinforcing his authenticity and vulnerability, Jay consistently turned apparent weaknesses into strengths. These moves illustrate the importance of perception, strategic thinking, and adaptability. Key lessons from Sun Tzu's The Art of War. That's it for me. It's your boy Ali. Agree or disagree with anything I'm saying? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.